If your dog panics when you close a door, and I'm not talking about the front door, it's because separation anxiety doesn't show only in the most common ways. In this video, I'm going to explain what this means. I'm Alex, a professional dog behavior consultant with over 21 years experience working with anxious dogs and their human parents. So, we often think of separation anxiety happening when you leave the house, like every time you leave the house, your dog panics. And in fact, that is the most common way that separation anxiety shows itself. But dogs are different, and separation anxiety can show itself in different ways too. For example, some dogs panic only if their human parents go out at night, so they can cope really well with their absence during the day because it's become part of their routine. But then, if mom and dad come home and then go out for dinner, that is something that happens out of their routine. And so it can trigger anxiety because it's not an everyday occurrence and it's a one-off situation. And so things become a bit unpredictable all of a sudden. Something unusual happening can trigger anxiety. Other dogs panic only if their human parents come home late. For instance, they also cope quite well with you being away at the office the whole day. But then, if you decide to go shopping on the way home, or if you have a meeting that runs until a bit late, and if you come home later than usual, then that can trigger anxiety. Not because your dog can tell the time, but because your scent lingers in the air. And so when you leave, the scent is still there, but it starts fading as time goes by. And anxious dogs are very sensitive to environmental cues, to routine, to whatever is predictable. So in this case, your dog may have become used to knowing more or less at what time you're coming home based on the intensity of your scent at that moment. Now, if your scent fades past a certain level that they used to, that is going to trigger anxiety, or there's a very high chance of that triggering anxiety. And yet, other dogs, and that's what I'm talking about in this video, other dogs panic when you close a door. So they don't necessarily follow you around the house, although many do. Um, they're okay if you're in another room. Let's say they're chewing a toy in the living room and you making the bed in one of the bedrooms, and that doesn't trigger anxiety. But the minute you close the door, either because you decided to have a nice bath or because you want to tidy up the bedroom without having your dog walking around, but whatever the reason is, the moment you close a door, then anxiety is triggered. And this is because your dog can't get to you. If there's a physical barrier, this means that if they need to check in for reassurance, they can't. And another thing that happens is they can't control your whereabouts. Now, anxious dogs often, when they panic in this situation, it's often because the thought of not being able to reach you when they need reassurance triggers anxiety, and also the thought of you disappearing without them noticing, without them knowing where you're going, can also trigger anxiety. So while when you're moving around the house, even if you're going from room to room and your dog isn't following you, while that doesn't trigger anxiety, well, it doesn't trigger anxiety because your dog can come to you whenever they need to, or they can come and position themselves in such a way that they can follow your every move. They can control what you're doing. And so there's no need to panic. Now, when a door closes, they feel like they're losing control of the situation. They don't know if you're going to disappear. They don't know where you've disappeared to. They might need to to do a check-in to get reassurance from you, and they can't do that. And so those are the two main reasons, like needing reassurance and not being able to get it, and needing to control your whereabouts and not being able to do it. Those are the two main reasons why some dogs' separation anxiety is triggered when you close a door. So if you find this video helpful and if you'd like to learn more about separation anxiety, its causes, common symptoms, and foundational steps that you can take right away to start helping your dog, just go down to the description and get access to a free training. Take care.